Hey, and we are live once again, yay! All right, you rock stars out there. This is day number 2 of the live stream Rockstar challenge. And if you're just catching up, that's totally cool. Yesterday, we talked about getting your ideal Facebook Live strategy going. And today what I'm going to talk about is the equipment that you need and how to get the right gear together to get the ideal setup for going live. And before I jump into that, I want to talk about one thing that I mentioned in the welcome materials that I sent to you. And that was to go and find a video buddy. And I just want to explain a little bit about how to best use your video buddy. Because I have found, even though today I'm not using a video buddy, I really wish I had one. And first of all, the best situation is if you find somebody who lives nearby, so that the two of you, kind of like a partner who goes to the gym with you, you get together and you make your two videos together. And the reason that this works well is that, first of all, you can have another person operate the phone and the camera, and they can actually be the director of the shoot. And instead of using the selfie camera like what I'm using now, you can actually use the better camera on your phone and you get slightly better quality. But what's even better than that is that you have another person to give you energy, to give you feedback, to get you all charged up, and to smile when you're smiling, and to respond with you as you're talking, and you don't feel all alone. And this actually makes a tremendous difference. So if you can find, and if you've already found someone who can be your video buddy, then the ideal world is that you get together and you do your two videos together. So great. Now, if you have a video buddy and they do not live anywhere near you, or they live way across town and it's too much trouble to get together, what you can do still is you can have them still support you by, when you go live, make sure they know the time and that they are watching live. So no matter what happens, you have at least one person who is your viewer, and they can comment and they can, make notes, and they can sing your praises. And absolutely, when you're done, they can give you positive feedback. And it would be great to follow up and do like a video debrief with your video buddy so that they can give you feedback. And I promise you that whatever you're thinking when you're live and if you're feeling any anxiety, or you're feeling like somehow you messed up in some way, you probably didn't appear to be messing up. You probably didn't appear to be nearly as anxious as you were feeling. And so your video buddy can help show you that and help you realize that actually you look pretty awesome. And what you said was really helpful. And they can also tell you the parts of what you said that really resonated with them. And that is also really helpful and valuable feedback. So I just want to encourage you that as you're getting ready to do a live video, that one thing that can really get you over the hump in the beginning is to find a friend who can support you in making your videos. And I have a couple of video buddies that I use. And the other thing that I do is that most often when I'm making a video, I'm doing an interview with another person. And when you're doing that, it's like they get to be your video buddy because they're on with you. And it takes the pressure off of just being you by yourself, all by yourself. So there's my 2 cents on getting a friend to help you out. So today we're going to jump in and talk about the gear that you use, and also just the steps to get ready when you're going live. Like what are the basic things to do so that when you do go broadcasting with the live video, you do it without any glitches. So the equipment part is as follows. When you're getting set, the first thing that I want to say is just that if all you have is a phone and the Facebook app, that's really all you need. and you can go live just with your phone. That totally works. So don't be feeling like, oh, I don't have anything. There's all this stuff that I ought to go out and buy first. Don't let that get in the way of actually going live and doing this. You can go live right away just with your phone. And in fact, especially when you're at a live event or you're doing something spontaneously, like if you're out on your run or if you're anytime, just right after you meditate in the morning, you have this thought that pops up in your mind. You can pull out your phone and literally go live in that moment while those ideas are fresh in your head. And it's a great way to do it, and it's a great thing to do. And I encourage you to do just that, without any other extra gear. But I'm going to give you some suggestions and tips so that when you are going live, it will work better for you. And you can actually create a setup that's very simple, and it will really enhance your regular production. Like if you're doing a regular series of live videos, you can make them look quite professional with just a couple of extra pieces of gear. So the first thing that I want to say is when you're going live, think about your location, because where you are says something about you, and it also can greatly enhance the quality of your production. So for instance, if I was in a room that was really dark, or if I was in a room that had a lot of harsh overhead light, like most office spaces, that would make me look very different than I'm looking right now. Either I would be hard to see, or I would be looking kind of green or sick or something because of harsh lighting. Or at the very least, if the lighting was harsh, I would look older. I would have, wrinkles and lines and shadows on my face. And I know for everyone, it's really important to be looking as good as possible. So help yourself out. And one of the easiest ways to do that is find a room that has a big window and a lot of natural light, and shoot during the daytime when the natural light is at its fullest. So in this room, for instance, I have a giant window just right off here, and I actually have the curtains drawn because it's such a beautiful sunny day here in Boston that if I had it all the way open, there would be direct light coming in, and I would be too bright, and I'd be squinting, and I'd be all washed out. So I have to actually draw the shades. But another thing that's happening is that there's a door open right behind me here, and you can see that there's just a little bit of backlight going, which is also nice, and it separates me from the wall behind me in the background. And so this is a very well lit environment, and it's lit naturally. I don't have to buy any lighting to create this effect. And I find that natural light is actually the best looking light. You can try and buy fancy softbox lights that are very expensive, but they will not create as diffuse and natural looking lighting as with just having an open window that you are facing. So there's my piece on lighting. And what you want to do is just look for the places in your environment, in your working world, in wherever you happen to be going, that have this kind of lighting, and be drawn to the beautiful open window, and be drawn to a room that has a quiet space with a not very distracting background, and do your video making in that location. So the next thing you want to be thinking about is how steady your phone is. And if you hold your phone out here, with your hand, it's going to shake around, and you get this very shaky video, and it's harder to watch. So you don't need anything. You can just set your phone up against a book or a water bottle, or sit it on a table against your computer, anything that will hold it steady, and then look into it that way. But easier than that is to get a tripod, and one of the simplest ones that I know of in terms of one that you can buy is one of these. These go for about $12, and they have these very bendy, flexible legs that allow you to put it onto practically anything. And then they come with a mount on the top which is designed to go to your phone. So there's a little clip here that I can raise and lower, and you can clip your phone on right in here, and then set this down wherever is convenient, or you can, set it on the wall and hook it up to something, and it will hold your shot very steadily. And these are very cheap, and you can get them on Amazon. And that's a great one. What I do is I always have one of those flexible tripods with me in my messenger bag. And so along with my phone and my flexible tripod, I'm ready to shoot practically anywhere. And the third thing that I'm going to recommend is a microphone. And the reason to have a microphone is twofold. One is that you're going to get better sound if your mouth is close to the microphone. And right now what I'm using is this lav mic that's clipped right here on my shirt. And this is a Rode Smart Lav microphone, and you can find these on Amazon. And I think they cost around $79, somewhere in that range. So they're not too expensive. And they do have a plug that will plug right into your phone, so you don't need any other jack. They're designed to be a microphone for your phone. And the only caution that I'll say when you buy one is make sure when you buy it that in the description it's saying, yes, this has the plug for the phone that I have. Because if you get one with a plug for a phone that you don't have, that won't work. And you'll have to buy an adapter. But anyway, I have a Smart Lav microphone, and then I have another cord, which is about a 12-foot extension that makes it possible for me to get even further away from my phone. And this is the other thing that I want to say about how you can use your microphone. A lot of people, when they go live, this is what I see, is that they get really close to their phone. And they get up really close and they go like this. And what's happening here is two things. One is I'm now using my phone as my selfie camera. And I'm not looking at the camera anymore, I'm looking at myself. And you can tell that I'm looking at myself. And what it looks like is that I'm sitting here sort of admiring myself and thinking that I'm looking really great. And so if you are this close to your phone, look at the camera like this. And the camera's just off to the side, and you want to stare at the camera rather than yourself. And actually, I find that if you get away from the phone and you can gesture, people can see more of you, they can see more of your surroundings, and this just makes for a much more professional looking video. This looks like it's set up the way that I might be set up even if I had a professional crew shooting this video with me. And certainly if I'm doing an interview, I'm going to want some distance between myself and the camera phone so that I have room for another person to be sitting over here talking with me. And so having this kind of lav setup works really well for that capability. So now, the last thing that I'm going to say about getting ready to go live and equipment-wise is that there is another app that I'm going to recommend in it that's not the Facebook app. Like, you can go live on the Facebook app and that works great. But if you want to do a slightly more advanced level of video making, there is another app, and it's called, there's actually many, but the one that I'm going to recommend is called Switcher Go. And I will have all these suggestions written down in the comments after I get off the live feed here. So you don't have to remember this stuff. I'll send links in the comments. But the Switcher Go app, the way it works, it does a wonderful thing. The first thing that it does is that it turns your camera phone into a DSLR camera. What that means is that it allows you to adjust all the settings. You can adjust the exposure lighting-wise manually. You can adjust the focus manually so that if I was close or I had something close, I could just focus on my hand, and back here I would be blurred, which is a really cool effect. And you can also adjust the digital ISO settings. And so it gives you a lot of control over the way the image looks, and you can modify that and make it even better than what the automatic settings on your phone will do. And this is just another way to slightly enhance the visual quality of your video. So if you're interested in that and exploring that, the Switcher Go app, it's free, is something to download and put on your phone, and you can go live directly from that. There are a couple other things that the app allows you to do, which I just think is fantastic. One of them is that if you have any pre-recorded video that you want to also share while you're live, you can queue it up. And then I could have let's say I had an example of a video of a client who had done something really cool, and I wanted to share that with you now while we're live. I could say, oh, I'll tell you the story about this client. She did this really cool thing, and let's take a look at her video. And I would just tap the phone where I have queued up her video, and it would start playing and broadcasting to you. And then when it was done, I would just tap the phone again, and I would be back live. And that's just great, great, killer good. Another way to use that would be that I could, and you can, create a pre-recorded intro to your video. That's like your title and your jingle and some music and whatever you say about yourself as your introduction. And then you could also have a pre-recorded outro queued up, which would be your call to action and what you want people to do after they watch the video. And in that way, when you go live, I could come on and say, hey, we're live and we're ready to go, and I'm going to talk about this today. And then I would hit the pre-recorded thing, and then my pre-recorded jingle would play, and it would give my title and all that stuff. And then when it stopped, I would come back, and then I would be live, and I would give my content, and then I could hit the outro, and it would just do this song and dance at the end, which would make it much more of a finished quality professional video, even though it's live. And this is a way that you can make kind of more like an edited YouTube style video within the live environment, and you're done. There's no post-production, there's no post-editing. So I know this is an advanced piece here, but if you're interested in pursuing something that is even better than the average live video, the Switcher Go app has some really cool features that will allow you to do that. And how it works and getting into the details and wiring of actually how to use that app are beyond the scope of this challenge, but I just wanted to mention it. And of course, if you want to work with me, you can. And this is one of the things that I do with clients, is I show them how to use tools like this so that they completely take their video making to the next level. And all of these things are very simple. I think video editing is not only difficult to learn, but it's also very time consuming. But to do the kind of live editing that I'm just mentioning is actually really, really easy. And it doesn't take any more time than the time it takes to do your live broadcast. So it's a tool that I just find really, really helpful at this point in time. And now I would like to mention a few things about beyond equipment. When you're ready to go live, what the setup looks like is so that when you go live, bad things don't happen. Because there's a lot of things that you could forget about, and then you go, oops, the broadcast just stopped. What do I do now? So here's some things to think about. The most basic one is make sure you have the Facebook app installed on your phone and that it's updated with the latest things. So if you get a little notice that says, hey, you need to update your software on this app, just do the update and make sure it has the latest version. And then the other thing that is kind of important is that on your phone, close down all the other apps that you may have open. Like when we go through our day, we end up using a lot of different apps, whether it's your email account or using Facebook or Twitter or all the other sort of things that you visit on your phone. And those things stay open. So you want to go in and close them all down, like close them out completely, do sort of the hard close on all the apps so that the only app you have open when you go live is the Facebook app. And what this does is it gives your phone a chance, some breathing space to run your live broadcast and not be worried about any other kind of notification. And then along with that, you want to turn off, or rather I should say turn on the airplane mode of your phone, so that, and what this does, or whatever do not disturb mode you have for your phone, so that you're not getting incoming calls in the middle of your broadcast, because the incoming call will come in and all of a sudden your broadcast ends, and that's not so great. So if you're on an iPhone, just hit the airplane mode icon and turn that on. And then at the same time, when you do that, make sure that you then go and turn on your wireless function so that you have a wireless connection and you're not using your mobile connection. And that, again, like if you want to be in a location where you have a good, strong wireless connection, and that will help your broadcast be more consistent. So let's see, what else have we got here? Oh yeah, and then you want to clean your lens. Most people don't even think about this, but you have this little teeny tiny round lens on your phone, and just take a look at it and make sure that it's not, got some crud on it of some kind. And you can tell pretty much like when you look at yourself in the selfie camera whether or not you look good or if there's some kind of thing on there. But just make sure that that lens is looking nice and clean and shiny. And I just use tissue paper to rub it off. And that's one thing. These are just little easy things that you can do. And then the last thing that I'm going to mention is your phone has a limited amount of storage space, and videos are pretty big files. And if you go on for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, all of a sudden you're creating a pretty big file for your phone to be stored or to carry that as storage. So you want to manage this. And what I use is the Google Photo storage system, which is free. And you can sync your phone to Google Photo, and it will make a copy of everything on your phone. And so I highly recommend that you take the time to do that. So all the images, all the other stuff that you have that's either a photo or a video that you may already have on your phone, put it up into the cloud on Google. And when you see your library there and you know that everything's been put up there, then go back into your photo and video library and delete everything. Just get rid of it all so you're not carrying it on your phone. And you have enough storage so that when you go live, you don't run out of storage space in the middle of your broadcast, which is another kind of disaster. And the rule of thumb is like, well, how much storage do I need? And the rule of thumb is this: 1 gigabyte of storage space is equal to 1 hour of video. So if you have if you look in your settings and you see, oh, I've got more than 1 gigabyte of storage space available, then you're good to go. But if you know that you have less than that, then you really need to clear out your phone so that you don't run out while you're going live. Right. And the last thing I want to talk about today is some of the simple steps to get ready to go live. And I actually made a whole video on the part about turning on the Facebook app. And I'll put a link to that in the comments so that if you're still wondering like, well, I've never used the Facebook app, how do I do that? How do I go live? You can watch this video and it's a complete few-minute tutorial on how to do that. But there's a couple of other things I'd like to suggest, which are these. And the most basic one, and by the way, this is for you, Linda, if you're watching. When you go live, instead of holding your phone in the vertical position, turn it in the horizontal position, like what I have now. And the reason for this is that we have video being broadcast in a widescreen format. And so everything from your computer screen to people on the phone, it will still be vertical, but everywhere else, it's going to be horizontal. And so you want to be wide. And you'll notice that when you go vertical, even when you post it on Facebook, what happens is that it's narrow and you get these blurry bars on either side of your video. And it really just narrows the range of what can be seen and what you can show. So it's very simple. Just turn your phone sideways and shoot horizontal video rather than vertical video. And again, I have another bonus video that's here on this page, just below me, which talks about a couple of video hacks, which includes using a tripod, it includes going in natural light, and it includes turning your phone sideways. And you can take a look at that video. It's only a couple of minutes long. So that is all of what I have to share today. And your assignment, if you choose to accept this mission, is a pretty simple one. What I'd like you to do is I would like you to take a look at your setup and go around your house or wherever you are and your workspace or your studio or wherever you happen to be and go, okay, well, here's where I would like to shoot. And here's where I have some good natural light. And here's a way that I can steady my camera. And whether or not you have a microphone, if you don't have a microphone, get yourself close to your phone and just give, it's like, okay, here's where I'm going to go live and this is the setup I have. And ideally, if you're brave, you'll turn on the Facebook app and you'll go live and say, here I am in my ideal location and my ideal setup, and share that with us. Just describe what it is. And if there's something that you don't have that you're thinking, yeah, well, what I could do to make this better would be a microphone so that I could get away from the camera and do this, you can mention those things too. But just take a moment to do that. And if you're feeling like, oh, I'm still not ready to go live yet, that's fine. Just set yourself up in the lovely setting where you are. And instead of a video, just take a little image of yourself. Take a picture that shows us that. And then post that picture of yourself in your location. And then write comments and say, here's my setup, and here's what I've got, and here's what I like about it, and here are a couple of things I'm thinking of getting. And then we can share and discuss all of that together. So that's it for today. And tomorrow, stay tuned, because tomorrow what I'm going to map out is the minefield of pitfalls that you might fall into when you're going live. And these are really common things that I see people doing, and these are really good things to avoid. And I call this the 7 deadly sins of live streaming. So you can look forward to that tomorrow, and we can go over all of those 7 things. And I will see you here on the Facebook group, and post your videos and or post your photo and your comments. And I look forward to commenting on all of them. And that's it. I'll see you again tomorrow at noon. So long for now.